Okay.
I mean, I do feel significantly more relaxed. Maybe girls do have one.
What?
Girls, very abrupt timing scared me.
What do girls have?
I mean, I thought they had something. I feel very relaxed now with the candle. Maybe they do have something going for like
the candle thing.
Yeah,
because I'm always like, I'm a man. I don't need candles.
I just have a machine that sneezes at me every 5 minutes.
That was a very expensive mango spitting flavor device.
It makes the scariest noise if you're not expecting it. He has like a humidifier thing, but it spits out every few minutes and it makes a weird little like robotic sneeze noise.
It scared Luca the first time he heard it. Like actually genuinely scared him. It's like this big man just like, oh jeez.
It is scary. It's abrupt.
It's not.
You don't expect it.
I mean, it's kind of a little bit scary, like first thing in the morning, like 6 a.m. and then it just like sneezes at you. but then you get this like nice mango aroma around you.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a gentle.
You really love mango.
I really love mango.
It coalesces with the smell of sangria soaked into his floor from when I spilled it under the bed.
Yes, it's like I've been Pavloved into loving mango.
Yes.
Okay. That is very interesting.
I'm glad.
I've never. I mean, you would love it in India. We have a lot of mangoes there.
Do you?
Yeah.
But don't mangoes come from like Cambodia?
Well, not all the mangoes. They're not the only. They're like no every.
We have
mango.
a monopoly on mangoes.
Yeah. Mangopoly.
Mangopoly.
So, yeah, I wanted to start the podcast. It's called Videsi, the Videsi gang.
Videsi gang.
The Videsi gang has everyone. Yeah. We will try to refrain from any gang signs. So
even though we just call it something.
This is our own gang. This is a gang of everyone who is not in their native country right now.
Okay,
so
that's fair enough.
I'm just inviting you guys like as the episode 0 or 1, I don't know. I'll decide.
We're the pilot episode.
Yeah, you're the pilot episode.
You're going to show us to the networks and see if they pick us up. Like.
Yeah.
Well.
The 2 North Americans.
I'm happy to be here. I was really excited.
Yeah. Yeah, the Videsi Gang podcast. And so I have no idea how to run podcasts. Well, I'm a big fan of listening to podcasts and watching them, and I really wanted to do something. I was like, man, wouldn't it be nice to see myself there?
And watch yourself talk about things.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, that's me. No, I'm just really interested in hearing other people explain their experience, just share their experiences of how things go down when they because moving to a new country is such a big thing. It's like it's life changing.
Yeah.
It's
perspective changing too. It's like of course it changes your life, but it changes your life back home too. So you no longer see anything the same when you're
And it seems so easy on like Instagram where people just like up and move. And no, really, like people, they just like, I'm gonna move to Bali for a year, and it's like, sounds amazing. It's that easy.
How?
And like, how do you do it?
Where'd you get a visa?
But I guess that kind of literally circles us back around to where we're gonna be talking about today.
Yeah.
You can start us off with a question since none of us really know how to like.
No, for sure. Well, to everyone who's watching, I'm Ankit. Hopefully you guys
your host, illustrious host.
Yeah. So I'll be regular here. You will be hearing this voice every episode, hopefully.
Lucky you.
And yeah, today we have James and Connor.
That's me.
That was good.
Sorry about that.
Too excited.
Yeah,
Too getting wet already. But yeah, so let's start alphabetically, I would say. Connor, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, why you came here, and what is your usual weekend like?
Oh, this is like...
Are we talking like pre-quarantine weekend or like lockdown weekend?
Yeah, because we all have the same weekends right now.
I would say...
Well, I mean, maybe it's like an ideal pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Ideal pre-COVID.
Let's be positive this episode. Let's give away vibes which are like
no masks.
Yeah, there's too much going on with COVID. Let's just pretend that we're not in COVID. Even though we're having to break Czech law to get here. We're not supposed to be fraternizing. So yeah,
we're not breaking any laws. They live with me.
That's 100% true.
In my building,
yeah, in the same building.
Yeah,
that's a very long building.
Yeah, it's okay,
a couple kilometers.
So
my name is Connor. I am from Vancouver, BC, Canada. Vancity gang. We're gangs. We are in gangs now. I came to Prague to do my master's degree in international security studies. Before that, I was a restaurant manager and bartender for a very long time in a lot of Vancouver venues. I came here to do my master's degree in security studies because I was thinking, I can't afford to do that sort of thing in North America, even with scholarships. Even with, like cheaper education in Canada, it still was not really feasible. And Vancouver is a very expensive place anyway. So I had studied here on study abroad in 2015, and I loved it. It was great. I made a lot of connections. I came back to Charles University, different faculty than when I studied at the first time. And I got a job. I made some friends. Not to like lead into it too much, but I met James through the program as well. It's been a good 2.5 years so far. I guess my ideal weekend, like pre-COVID, would be, I would probably like a very casual Sunday, like maybe like a nice walk, like even just down to the grocery store and feel like I'm doing something other than school or work. And because it gets you into a rut. I like to have that time where I feel like as an adult I am accomplishing something so that my dad doesn't yell at me, but also I don't have daddy issues. But I would like to have maybe I definitely ideal would have 6 or 7 buddies over and we just have a couple beers, watch some movies or play bros. Bros being together,
dudes being dudes.
Dudes being dudes, guys being guys, I love restaurants and bars, so I would love to go to some cool bar that we've never gone to.
Forgotten what that's like.
It's weird, but I guess that would be an ideal Saturday, and then maybe even Sunday too. Depends on our school schedule. Yeah. But now I guess we're adults.
School gang.
Yeah, but no, that would be it. Just being antisocial through the week, you want to be social at the weekend. And that was my ideal. I always cherish the time I had off because I was, restaurant life doesn't leave for being social. But yeah, gathering up the time that you missed with your friends would be the ideal way to spend it. And if I had a dog, I'd have a dog involved too. I had one in Vancouver. It's very cute.
Hello, Oliver.
Yep. Hey, Oliver. I think that's enough about me for now.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna break the third wall. Should I look at you?
No, you can look at
camera.
No, you can look at me. Okay. I'll just clear one thing. By here, we are in Prague. We're in Czech Republic.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that.
Exact address and phone number.
We're all in Prague, in the Czech Republic. For those who don't know, it's in Central Europe. It's a pretty small country. It's not super big. People here are different.
Kind of the same. Okay, so my name is James. I'm from Savannah, Georgia, which most people don't know where that is. If you're not from the States or North America, you have no idea. Atlanta, that's a big airport. It is. But there's more to Georgia. So I'm basically the other side of the continent from Connor. Because you get Vancouver and then Savannah's the southeast coast. Hot, humid,
Exactly the opposite.
Yeah, exactly the opposite. I was interested in coming to Europe from a very, very young age because my mom is from Sweden. She was born and raised in Stockholm. I have family there still. My grandmother is full-blown Northern Swedish. My grandfather's American.
Full-blown.
Yeah, well, she's this big.
She's heavy?
She's tiny blown. But, I knew kind of from early on because both my grandmother, my aunt, and my mother all came from Sweden to the United States to study abroad and ended up meeting their respective husbands. And it sort of became almost a tradition, I guess. So I went to study abroad in 2015 as well, but I was in Ireland learning nothing and having a really good time. And I came to Prague then. Probably, was like within walking distance of Connor at the time, which is funny. But loved Prague. Thought it was a really cool city. The architecture, like the nightlife, just the price of everything. Like we'll talk about that, I guess, later.
Yeah.
It's affordable. So it was huge on my radar. Went back to college, finished. I did political science and rhetoric and French, and that sort of segued into international security because I really liked international relations, and I chose international security essentially because I got into Charles University. Out of the 5 places I applied, this is the first one that was like, "You're in, come." I was like, "Cool." And like Connor said, it's a lot cheaper. I'm not going to talk actual numbers, but significantly less than it would have taken.
We will talk actual numbers.
Yeah.
A lot less than what I would have paid in Georgia even. Like Emory, the top school there, masters would have been like $25,000 a semester. That's absurd.
Yeah.
That's US dollars.
Yeah.
That's absurd. I graduated and then came here, and then orientation day I met Connor. We sat next to each other.
Like the third person we met.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since. Then we moved in together. But, weekends. Okay, so that's how I got here.
How did you guys met in the class? Like
in orientation, before even it had begun. We were sitting next to each other when they were giving us our information pamphlets.
So you've been together since the day one.
Yeah.
It's literally since day one, yeah.
Which is pretty fun.
Awesome.
Perfect weekend for me would usually involve, hanging out with Connor and our boys. We had a group of 6 of us that were pretty tight-knit first semester.
Yeah.
And
we all met within like a week of each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we had a nice little group message, just drinking, cooking together, watching stuff.
The cooking.
But I also really like to ride my bike. So, my perfect weekend day would be like, not early because I'm not insane, but relatively early bike ride, like 11 a.m. Everybody's going to be like, that's not early. But, when you wake up at 10, that is kind of early. Yeah. Long bike ride, like 2 hours, come back, shower, relax for a few hours, and then hang out. Your body is like excited to drink alcohol and eat food after you've exercised, and you feel like you can do more of both. I don't know. It's nice. And this, right now it's cold and gray and it gets dark at 4 o'clock, so it's a little less beneficial.
It's the sad time. It's SAD, right?
Yeah.
Summer. No, what is it? What is the full form of SAD?
What? I don't know.
Something.
Sad autumn depression.
Is it that?
That's just the same.
Seasonal
Autumnal depression.
Yes, something like that.
Sure,
something like that.
That sounds smart to me.
Yeah,
it is. It's seasonal depression. I don't know the A part, but it is. A lot of people are really sad.
Especially people like us who are from really sunny places where it's
exactly.
never dark. So
I'm perfectly fine. This is great. It's just not raining, which is what messes with me.
There's very little weather here.
I know, it's just miserable.
There's no thunderstorms.
This is still not as bad as it could be, like in Russia or somewhere else.
Yeah, we have colors like there's
leaves
on trees and stuff.
No, the golden hours are really good.
Yeah.
When it's sunny, it's beautiful.
It looks nice. I just miss weather. I miss rain and lightning and thunder. I miss feeling small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's
that too.
My weekend and the reason I'm here. I don't want to go into too much because we'll start getting into other questions.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Are
you not going to talk about how you got here?
Yeah. I was like, I guess I should because not everyone who's listening might know me.
Yeah.
I'm from Mumbai. Woo.
Yeah.
I was born and brought up in Mumbai, and I was studying computer science. I did after my 10th grade in India. You have 2 options. You can either go for your junior college, which is 11th and 12th grade, or you can go for a diploma, which very few people go for. But I was like,
Is it expensive? Why not?
Because then you decide what you want to do.
Oh, you have to
since 11th grade.
Oh, damn, that's
because it's just
a lot
one
of
major.
pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, damn, okay. I was really sure for no reason, or for some reason. I loved computers. And I thought, why not just go for it? It's cheaper and it was easier to get into good colleges because there was less competition. So I just applied for it. I did my diploma in computer science. And then after my diploma, I did my bachelor's in technology and information technology. also from Mumbai, which was a really big. It was one of the biggest universities in Mumbai.
What are we talking student body wise? Population?
Oh,
Huge.
well, we had like 6 branches of engineering and 2 buildings for management, like MBAs, 2 for arts, for commerce, like accounts and all of that, and some linguistic PhDs, humanities, and all. And it was like the whole campus was like 12 square kilometers
The
or something.
scale of everything
Like,
in Mumbai just
huge.
blows my mind.
Yeah, it's huge. That doesn't help me picture how big it is.
It blows my mind.
It's
I can't picture that sort of thing.
imagine like in one class we had I think 100 and in one division, like I was doing information technology. So in my stream we had per year 150 students, and we had 6 of those for every year. And then we had, you can just multiply that for an MBA. We had like, there were 3 courses for those, and the same 150 for that. And then we have living quarters, like 10 buildings. It's not super big compared to America because you guys have a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Mumbai is so like densely populated. There's no space for anything. But it's called KJ Somaya. Like a lot of people who are in Mumbai must know it. It's huge. It's probably one of the biggest like campus spaces in our state. And after I was really good there. I was getting like 9 pointers.
Good boy.
And I was doing good in grades, and I was like co-writing a book on Java with my professor. I did like industrial collaborations for my final projects, and all of my faculty was hoping that I'm gonna do like I will make them proud, get like a really good salary so they can boast about me. And then in the last year I just bailed out. I went to my placements professor and I was like, I wanna take a gap year. I don't wanna do anything. I'm thinking of pursuing a career in media. And everyone was like, no. But yeah, all that, a lot of people were disappointed in college. My parents were really supportive. I took a gap year. I tried doing some photography on the side. It all went really well. Mm-hmm. And I then came here to study filmmaking because I just thought that was a smooth transition for visual storytelling, from photography to filmmaking. And now I'm here, and now I have a job in animation and computer, like game development. So I guess it all tied up together really well. I'm really glad I did my degree, because or else I would be nowhere. I would have lost such a big opportunity. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been which month did you guys come here?
I got here
September 2018.
Yeah, September 2018.
2018. Yeah, so I came here September 2019. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys came here 1 year before me.
Yeah.
You need to do your weekend thing, but I guess we should just discuss why Prague specifically.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's my next question.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't care about my weekend. My weekend's pretty chill. I don't do much. I just watch stuff. But yeah. That's my next question is, how old were you when you came here, and why Prague?
Like for the first time?
Yeah.
Or
not like for
here.
the
to
course.
Move here?
Yeah,
Okay.
to move here.
Well, I was 25. Mm-hmm. So like, that was like the pivotal year, like we need to do something now in your life. Because like I was pretty happy with where I was at in Vancouver. Like I had more or less happy. I had a great job at a really big restaurant, like a big one. I think it was the second largest in Canada, and like it was paying all right. And then I was like, I need to do something with my life, and I knew I wanted to move to Europe for at least a little while, a big portion of my life. And I had this connection to Prague for a very long time, like one of the first places I came to in Europe. I have like extended family that are Czech or have connections to Czechoslovakia in a way. And And I mean Czechoslovakia because they were from Czechoslovakia at the time.
No offense to anyone.
I'm not confusing it. Like
communist.
Like they left Czechoslovakia in like 1986, so it was Czechoslovakia at the time.
We believe you. We have no reason to not believe you yet.
Yes. Yeah. And like I knew a little bit of the language already. I knew I had some contacts at the university, and I got a pretty sweet like part-time job right out of the gate as well with the university. So I mean, it was nice coming back. It felt familiar.
You've been here before,
many times. Many times.
How many times? Like, and were you familiar with Prague? Like,
yeah.
As a city, you knew how to get around.
He was already showing us around
here?
and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I already knew where things were. Like I made friends and I took them on like little pub crawls and
okay.
Like our favorite place to eat is like I took you guys first. Like this place is amazing, and I was right clearly. Yeah. I've been here. Like I think I came to Prague for the first time in 2011. I think.
What age would that
was like
make you?
17, 18. I was in grade
Okay.
12. It was on a trip I organized through history class at school. But yeah, I picked Prague because it was familiar, and I knew I wanted to come back. I was first accepted to the University of Glasgow for their program.
It was
Where's that? In the
EMSIS
UK?
program?
Yeah. Sorry?
Was it the EMSIS program? Or
Yeah,
you
the
had to
EMSIS
travel?
program,
Okay.
the like rival to our program.
Okay.
Screw those
And I
guys.
just decided that like I knew the quality of teaching at Charles University, and that's, I know them better. I might as well just go to Czech. I know the process already. And then I'm kind of glad I chose Czech because that whole Brexit thing that we're not going to talk about too much.
Controversial.
Controversial topic. But yeah, the decision was simple for me, really.
Okay.
Felt like home a little bit.
What about you?
I applied to 4 schools. Like I applied to Uppsala in Sweden. That was my top choice.
Okay.
Mostly because I've got family in Stockholm, which is
yeah.
like an hour and a half or whatever from Uppsala. Been nice. Good school.
Great.
Didn't get it. It's small. They took like 14 people a year.
14?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
insanely
it's
small.
really good school.
It's a master's program.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Masters is like
Also, you're right next to Copenhagen too. You get access to the Copenhagen school. They're literally the Copenhagen school.
And I think I applied to Utrecht University in the Netherlands, which is another good school. But Charles University was, I think, the cheapest, and it had the widest range of topics of courses. Like you would look at most things, and they'd be very specific.
Yeah.
It'd be like financial security or like this kind of security, and then here it was everything from space security to cyber security to like, everything in between. And I really appreciated that because I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I knew I wanted to work in international politics and security, but beyond that, it was like, I don't even know where to begin. Do I want to work for the UN? Do I want to work for like peacekeeping? I thought I wanted to do peacekeeping monitoring, like the guys that monitor the operations, because that's what I did my thesis on in undergrad. And there was a bunch of classes for that. There's a whole bunch of like UN and peacekeeping, and they offered a bunch of courses. Like this seems like a no-brainer. Like I'm gonna go here. And like I said, I'd come here before in 2015. It was a fun time. I went to Lucerna, and like it was good.
No.
I was young. It was fine then.
Yeah.
And I just realized that like it's affordable. It's not like cheap. I don't feel like I'm in some poor country, but it's just everything is like adjusted a little bit.
It feels reasonable.
Yeah, extremely reasonable.
They're not looting, and the currency is not super inflated. So it's
no, it's just
things are
good country.
So for you, would you say it was more about things being familiar that brought you here, that maybe have given Prague an higher?
Price was naturally like a secondary.
Yeah. No, price of course, but
because like I think the amount that our tuition cost us was about like 60% of what a master's would be in Canada, which is like that's still pretty cheap compared to what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But that's still money that I don't have, and also that I'd have to like live in Vancouver as well, and the cost of living is literally like double, almost 3 times as much.
Your parents were kind of out of the city, right? So you can't just commute from home.
It was like a 30-minute, 45-minute commute all the time, and here it was like you waltz out of bed and like
get on the tram.
Get on the tram that were like the tram pass costs like
3,000.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Crowns. That's what How many dollars
I
is
think
that?
it was like 60 something bucks for.
Yeah, for students it's
for
super
students,
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
year?
75 Canadian bucks for a whole year.
Insane.
That's
Yeah.
so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas like a 3-zone pass in Vancouver was 200 Canadian bucks. Like that's
For a year.
no, for a month.
For a month?
Yeah,
month.
absurd.
That's
New York is like that
insane.
too. It's
Yeah.
so
Oh,
expensive.
no.
There's major caveats. So like,
Yeah.
I picked it because of the field, but I mean, it was a pretty easy decision when I'm looking at my bank account. I'm like, and I managed to live here for a whole year and a half with like a little bit of income from this part-time job, which was like maybe like rent that it covered. And I managed to live here for like a year and a half on savings, which is amazing. You wouldn't be able to do that anywhere else.
No, you can't.
Well, you could if you lived
No.
in like
If you're
Krasnodar.
just-
You couldn't get the education that we were getting.
Yes.
Plus live off of that.
Yeah,
anywhere
exactly.
else. Yeah.
So how much would you rate on the like Czech Republic or Prague affordability scale?
Affordability out of 10? Like,
Yeah.
What is one like?
I would say 1 would be like
Well, that could be
Ivy League, like American colleges, which is
Okay.
like not at all affordable.
Yeah.
Like 100,000 or something a
Are we
year.
talking like university affordability.
Or just
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
general.
Like as a student, living as a student, like if you're moving, because for me, I was gonna go to like Rochester or somewhere, like to study for my master's.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rochester IT,
yeah,
good school.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was insane. It was
Yeah.
50,000 per semester,
Yes.
I think.
I know.
And
It's
that's nuts.
absurd. It's absolutely
That's
absurd.
like
I had a hockey scholarship for Rochester IT and I didn't take it.
Would that have been a 2-year program or what?
yeah, 2 year. So
So much
for
money.
me, that was on an affordability scale. I would put that on a 1 because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot
Okay,
afford
yeah.
that. It's just you don't have to think about other people, just like personally. And 10 would be like public, like you
Yeah,
have to pay
like-
just taxes.
Community college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Germany,
I
they're
don't know. I put this
No.
at like a strong 7 or an 8. Because like, there's very few places I could think where you could get the same level of
quality.
education and what's it called? Your living quality of
Yeah.
living is great here.
Yeah, I'd put it at a firm 7.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
you get really good schooling, you get like reasonable tuition. Like, it doesn't beat like even in Germany, if you don't speak the language, you can still get really cheap school.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
that's because Germany has like, you know, the best economy.
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
And if
They
you're
have a lot of
European,
money.
it's
Yeah.
free, I think.
If you speak German, it's free.
Yeah, if you speak German, it's free.
But
Even for me.
even here, if you come,
If you speak Czech, it's free.
really okay. I thought if you came here with a European,
Is
passport,
it
was
free
slightly
here? If
cheaper.
you're no,
If you
you have to
speak
be
Czech, it's
European,
free.
right?
If you can pass the Czech B1 language test.
So you're saying I could go to FAMU, like the Czech FAMU, if I just learn Czech.
If you can learn Czech, you can feasibly apply to get into your degree and do it all in Czech.
Fact check.
Yeah.
I am
Tell us we're wrong in the
90%
comments.
certain.
Okay, let's.
Flay us alive, please.
Cool. I was just gonna ask how did you guys meet each other, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
covered. So okay, let's go back in your brain. Just close your eyes and just rewind time. Go back to the day you came here. First impressions versus now. Let's start with first impressions.
The day I came here.
How was it? What did you think of when you first landed here? What was going through your mind?
I was excited. Everything felt slightly unfamiliar in a really good way. It wasn't like a intimidating unfamiliarity. It was cool. It was refreshing. And I noticed immediately things that we don't have in the States. Like there was recycling on almost every other corner. There was like a bunch of small shops. There was a lot of people walking. There was a ton of bicycles, a lot of green spaces, pretty colored buildings. And I was like, this is awesome. Because I mean,
Yeah.
in Savannah, yeah, we're a little bit more liberal than the rest of Georgia. We recycle, etc. But you go most places, they don't even know what to do with the recycling bin, you know, and that to me was huge. I was like, because I've been getting more into that because I was part of the governing body for the environmental science club in college, so I started to become like aware of that in college.
Nerd.
It's barely a job. But you know, I just became aware of that. So when I came here, that was like my first thought. I was like, this is cool. They're efficient. They're trying. They're trying to be a green state,
Yeah.
and I appreciated that. And the public transport. We don't have trams at all, or buses, or subways, or anything in Savannah or Georgia for that matter. Like Atlanta has Atlanta has MARTA, which is one of the worst transportation systems in the world. Like you can look it up. Nobody likes MARTA.
I think I'll pass on that one.
I'll add to what you said about recycling, because I've never recycled in my life. Like in Mumbai, we were forced to separate our wet and dry trash. That's it. Just that. And we did not have anything. I think very few people separated their plastics and paper. My mom used to like make us do that. By the end, she would make us like separate the wet and the dry. But a lot of times, well, because I lived with my grandparents and, you know, it gets difficult. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people in India were just not wired for that. And when I came here, it was so confusing. I didn't even know how to use the dustbins. Like, because to dispose your trash yourself, yeah, it was like daunting. And we got yelled at by our our apartment, someone, like the apartment guy who's the dude with all the keys.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, the superintendent or something. He came to our apartment. He was like, you threw everything in like the mixed thing? And we're like, well, yeah, it works, right? It's mixed. And he's like, no, you're wasting. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know, I'm sorry. But yeah, what were your first impressions?
Well, I mean, like literally my very first impression of this was like way back in 2011 when I fell asleep on the bus and I woke up in Prague. And it was pretty, well, I woke up in just between Prague and Liberec. Liberec is in the north, like near the Polish border. Woke up there and I was like, oh, this is great. Like beautiful green rolling hills. And I'm like, wow, this is wonderful. And we got to Prague and I'm like, wow, this is a really pretty city. And then, that was my initial first impression. I was only here for like 24 hours, but the most recent time I came here was like, okay, this is it. This is moving to Prague for like the next couple of years now. You're like, you better really like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, I was just excited to like see what had changed over the years. And my initial impression was like, it's really gotten into a bigger city now. It felt really different. Like Prague from like 2010, 2011 was like fresh in the EU, like still was like
no Airbnbs.
Yeah, it was like very, very. It felt very Eastern. I don't like saying that, but it felt like
but it was figuring itself out still.
Yeah, and then Prague of 2018 was like, okay, we're in the big leagues now. This is no different than Berlin, Amsterdam, Paris. Like we are a big city now, and it felt like it. It was really busy. Prague is really good at taking care of itself now with like all the street cleaning crews now. They're really good at that.
Yeah, it almost always looks...
It's always perfectly clean.
Very taken care of.
What did you do your first week? Well, I'll tell my first impressions were also like exactly the same. I was even more taken aback by the streets. Like I thought there would be lesser traffic, but there's a lot of traffic.
It's very busy.
It's really busy, especially in the centers. It's like people love driving here. Even I don't know why. They can't drive. They're really bad drivers.
Yeah. They're dangerous.
They're really bad drivers. But yeah, and I was just like, yeah, it's cold, but it's also sharp, and it's not super sharp because it's not super dry. There's a lot of humidity, and the wind was really clear. Like the air was really clean. My skin was feeling good, and I was like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, what did you do your first week? Like, well, I went. Let's say technically after you chose to move here. Let's count it from there.
Like my first week,
like 2018 September. Like so first week.
As soon as I get here, get off the plane, checked into the Airbnb for a week. Then what did I do?
Oh, you checked into an Airbnb?
Well, so did I.
So
why?
Find a place.
So you didn't get school housing?
So no, we did actually. We got accommodation documents.
But it would have been a room like the size of this with 2 beds in it.
Well, I went into it, so let me tell you.
Yeah, because I lived in school housing for 1 whole year, so I can tell you guys after that what my experience. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I didn't live there for a whole year. I'm too much of a pretty boy. I couldn't do it. So I moved into an Airbnb for about a week. Like I landed here on September 12th, which was like, I flew on 9/11.
Oh,
made
nice.
flying very cheap. Nobody in the airport.
That's so weird.
And the guy, the car driver, I booked a personal transfer from Prague Airport, and the guy was still late. There was no one there, which is something that will be a recurring theme. They're very punctual. Czechs are very punctual with their transit system, but otherwise,
that's about it.
That's about it. Like, and I'm sure there's a reason for it. I'm sure there might not be. That's fine. But
for everything here, the reason is communism.
Yes, that's not even a joke.
It really did do them very big. Like it
did them dirty.
Yeah, it did them dirty. Yeah, I forgot the words. It did them something.
It did them something. Yeah. It
did something.
It did a dirty number on them.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So yeah, I checked in my Airbnb and I just like went around to all the old spots I knew. Like I checked. I was like, hey, I went to Old Town. It's still just as busy.
Yeah.
I went to Medvedku. It's a restaurant just off of Narodny, heading towards Old Town Square. Now it's a really busy place, but it used to be like the last affordable place that served really good Czech food.
Okay.
I just wanted to have Czech food.
Is it the buffet place?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not.
It was like student style buffet place. Never mind.
You know where the big Tesco is on Narodny?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mall, like the mall.
The big mall. My is what it's called.
Mm.
So if you're looking towards Wenceslas Square, and then like Narodny's on your right, or no, Tesco's on your right, you go left, and it's like the first little restaurant down that street behind the Česká bank there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we go past the street where Friends is, and then
before Friends.
Very specific.
That's very specific.
Yeah.
We don't
carry forward.
Anyway, so I went there. I just wanted to see where everything was, and then like I started exploring a little bit. Like I was staying down what's called Branik, just exploring the area. Didn't go to the brewery. I'm really glad I didn't.
Oh, it's excellent beer.
It was premium beer
in the Czech Republic.
But then after that week, like we had our orientation day, and then the day after I moved out of my Airbnb, and I moved into the student housing, and that was an experience and a half. Not only was it my first time driving with a Ukrainian Uber driver.
I was Ukrainian too.
I know.
Super nice guy.
And it was, and I knew enough Czech. He wanted to talk to me, and I had no idea why he wanted to talk to me, but he did. So I'm like,
he just found you pretty. You said you're a pretty boy.
I'm a pretty boy. That's what I tell myself to feel better. And he wanted to talk to me, so we were speaking like broken Czech, English, Russian, because I know you
nice.
Residual Russian. It was really weird. And I said like, oh, I study security studies, like
and he just
and he's like, oh, okay, terrorism.
You CIA.
And then he's like, oh, terrorism. Like we don't like Muslims in this country. I'm like,
oh no. So what did you do after the racist?
Well, I checked into the dorms. I was put in like what felt like a prison cell.
Yeah, they're scary.
Nice.
They are scary. First time encountering a dorm room. I didn't stay in one in my bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like, okay, you fall asleep literally like a meter away from the person you share a room with, and you go out into the main way, and then there's a shared kitchen bathroom with the other unit next to you, so you could feasibly walk into their unit. And I just no. I stayed there for about 2 weeks, and this is like, I didn't have Wi-Fi. Didn't have Wi-Fi.
What?
They didn't set it up until mid-October apparently, because our friend Stefan was staying in there until like middle October, beginning of November.
Luca was there all year, wasn't he?
Luca was in a different one.
Okay.
He was in Hviezda.
Okay.
But he also had a private room.
Yeah.
So I stayed there for about like 2 weeks, and I met my roommate, literally my roommate, and he was this like scary Slovak dude who always had people coming in and out. And I was, no, I'm getting out. It was too much of a shock, and was really far away from everything. So I was like, I'm gonna find my own place, even if it's like 4 times as much. So I did, and I lived with a gay couple from Russia for a year, and I met them really
Beautiful.
We have a lovely painting of theirs.
We do.
You both lived with them?
No.
No, I did.
Oh, you brought it to.
Sergey gave me a painting when I moved out. Yeah.
And what was your situation?
My dad came with me, which is pretty convenient because I got here the day before him, and my dad was in France for a wedding already, so that it worked out perfectly. He and my mom were in France. It's perfect. He just took a little flight over, met me, and then for the first 4 days, we were just like explored the city,
Vibing.
Yeah, exactly. And we found an apartment together while we got here, so we could go see it and stuff. It's the first time I ever lived alone. It was interesting, but I guess
pretty sweet apartment.
It was an awesome apartment. I paid too much for it, but it was an awesome apartment. But it was nice. We saw all the sights. We went to the castle. We Old Town Square, the clock, the bridge. We drank. We ate. We went to local. We ate smažený. We had way too much nefiltry beer. We drank whiskey. It was a good 4 days with Dad. And then I moved to Videsi, which is like the equivalent of moving out of out of Prague, basically. Like you don't feel like you're in Prague.
You're still in a good area. Like, you have access to everything.
It was 2 minutes from our classrooms, which was awesome.
Nice.
But you still don't feel like you're in Prague. The view from my balcony was a few houses and a hill with trees on it. How it looked like it was in the woods. It's awesome.
Do you like? So you prefer that? Or
no, I love our neighborhood now, but it was really nice because I was living alone, and I didn't have much to do. So I started running a lot. So I was like running every single day in the woods. I was, and it was nice. I had immediate access to the forest. But yeah, my first week was just exploring, finding an apartment, and settling in before classes. Getting my stuff, my school supplies.
What things did you guys bring in your suitcases, and what things did you leave behind? Like, did you bring all your clothes? Did you bring something else? Like toiletries, of course. Like whatever, But except that, like anything specific that did you sacrifice? Because I chose to keep a lot of stuff. Like I didn't bring my tripod, which was really heavy, and a lot of other things. I have a lot of clothes. I couldn't bring all of them, even though I had 2 suitcases. My mom shipped me 25 kilos of food and extra shoes and spices. Because everything's pretty bland here compared to India, like food wise.
Say that again.
I think
it's everywhere. Because, a lot of places. I still, but I don't know. Okay, I don't wanna. I love Czech dessert though. I think they really know their way around sugar.
Yeah, that's true.
And baking.
That's very true. They do.
But I couldn't bring all of my clothes, and I had to leave a lot of stuff behind. So what did you guys?
I pretty much brought everything I had.
Everything?
Like as much as was reasonable. Like I had 4 suitcases.
4 suitcases. Did you pay extra for
this man brought like half a library with him.
Oh god.
Yeah, and it was a good reference when we're writing our theses.
Yeah, he did. He brought so many books.
But they're like academic books, just trying to think what I got in there. I got like 1984, the Communist Manifesto.
Isn't it in German too?
The German version of the original.
You can read German?
I can speak German.
Okay. So you can't read German, you can just speak it.
Reading German's a lot more difficult, to be fair. Like literary German's. Well, I mean.
So what did you do with the book?
I read it.
So you can read it.
I can read it. Okay. It just took. It's like reading Shakespeare. It's just you have to
I've never.
Oh, okay. You should. It's a great time.
It's one of my most favorite activities.
Super intuitive.
Yeah,
reading Shakespeare.
Reading Shakespeare is always like a plus 10 experience.
Okay.
No, I brought a lot of good books, and I use them occasionally. I probably won't bring them next time I move. Because that was like an extra 200 euros that I didn't need to spend.
Yeah.
So you paid 200 euros for the flight, like bringing them?
The flight was like 500 euros. And the bags was another 500 euros.
They're so expensive to ship across the country.
But it was cheaper to bring it than it was like more or less the same. I mean, to ship it with me than to ship it separately. So it didn't really matter what I did. But I brought like literally everything I had. Like I just purged my clothing.
And might turn some lights on. It's
like
getting a little dark.
Like if I didn't wear it, I just didn't bring it. And I brought
lighting.
We live in the 21st century.
Yeah, this man has dimmers on his lights because
he's got dimmers on his phone lights.
Yeah.
This is some premium technology.
Dang it! I wanted to curse there.
I know, I want to say it too. But
this man F's.
But yeah, I brought like everything I could that I had that made sense. It was still like 4 suitcases. I thought I was going to be some like cool academic with all my books, and now I'm just a degenerate who stays at home.
Funny how she goes. I think I had. I can't remember if I had 2 or 3 suitcases originally.
Well, you brought a bike.
I bought it.
Well, you bought a bike.
That was the biggest thing. I was going to get to that. So I came. I think I had 2 suitcases originally, full of clothes, absolutely full of clothes. And then I had a big backpack that I brought on the plane with me that had like my computer, my Xbox. Screw Xbox. My PlayStation 4.
PlayStation.
My PlayStation 4. All that stuff. My computer is like 17.5 inches, so it didn't fit in the bag. It was like hanging out of it the whole time. But yeah, just way too many clothes now looking back. But I had to vet my closet, you know. I
would you change
from a
something?
Huge family. Yeah, I would have brought a little bit fewer clothes. I didn't need that much, and like you end up getting more as you're here too. And now I have to like recycle my textiles or give them away or something. So definitely fewer articles of clothing. The hardest thing for me is that I have 4 bikes at home that I'm kind of in love with. Like they're my 4 girlfriends, and I couldn't bring them. Obviously, it's really expensive to ship.
Human trafficking, yeah.
So I had to
we
say
don't
goodbye.
condone human trafficking in this house.
That hurt. Like I've bought those bikes too. You know, like those are the ones that I've like specifically curated over a course of like 6 years.
Just to clarify to people who are from India or from bikes in this scenario are like bicycles.
No engines.
Like not motorbikes.
I'm not a rich man.
Because in India, bikes are motorbikes.
Motorbikes, okay.
Yeah, so this is bicycles.
I use my legs.
For motorbikes
My
would
pedals.
be like... Oh,
Yeah, exactly. No.
lot of pollution. But yeah, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, that's it. That was my saddest thing, was I couldn't bring those. And something I really missed when I got here was all my tools. I had a toolbox that I had been curating for years. You know, everything from bike tools to like regular maintenance tools. And then all of a sudden you get here and you like go to IKEA and you get the little screwdriver set or whatever. But you can't do anything with that. Yeah, that's it. What about you?
No, I just I brought a lot of clothes. A lot, and I don't regret it actually. I wish I had more.
You've acquired more. I've seen your wardrobe.
Yeah. No, I love my clothes. Yeah. It's just good to have options. But yeah, I don't think I would have probably brought my tripod as well. I think it kind of stopped me from using my camera as much as I would if I had it. So that's kind of sad. But I think because I was thinking about what I should bring here for so long that I don't think I would have like made any mistakes. I was planning everything for like a year because I had to be sure. I just had to be sure about everything.
It's more planning than I had for sure.
Yeah. No, because I had a lot of friends who would always just ask me or anyone on WhatsApp like, is anyone coming to America? I forgot, like I would like to have this, I would like to have that, and no one would give it to them. And then they'd be sad they'd have to buy it there. So I was like, no regrets. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to ask, because this is something that I experienced a lot. Did you guys experience a culture shock? Like when you moved here, did you feel like things were that? Because this would differ a lot for like us, because like me being from India, things are really different than here. But But yeah, I don't know that much about you. I have no idea about culture in Canada, especially because I don't have any point of reference for your culture.
Imagine like America, but quieter and a little bit more polite. But like everything that you associate with American culture is like almost like, I'm probably gonna get hate for this. We're very, very similar, like 80% the same. Like even to the point that James and I sound similar should be an indication.
Especially considering we're on opposite ends of the continent.
Yeah.
But like we're quieter people. We're a little bit more. We're a little more British in the way that we like our manners a lot more. We're reserved, but we can be polite rude, the way I say it. Like Americans will just get loud and angry, and we'll just be kind of petty about it in a way.
Passive aggressive? No?
Not quite. Almost. That's why I say polite rude.
Okay.
Because it's not quite passive aggressive, but it's like just the way the word thinks.
Okay.
But I mean, otherwise, like picture like American or British culture, or actually, I think we're probably closer to like Australians, if anything, in a lot of aspects. But like American culture is like first, and then Australian British second.
So did you get a culture shock? Like when you came here, were things so different that you were like, oh no, what is?
I'm a bad frame of reference for that one because I already was like exposed a lot to Czech culture and Czech and Slovak culture.
And he already knew the pleasantries in conversation too. Like he could say hello at a store and
like I kind of like, I won't claim to speak Czech, but like I know how the language works a little bit, so I can like
I can say ahoy.
Well, when it came to like hanging out with our little friend group, I was the one fixing the problems if there was one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And yeah, I was more than capable of doing that on my own. Like I was used to like how the culture is here, which like can be very cold if they don't know you.
Yeah.
And it can be very it's an introvert culture here.
Yeah.
Which is like very different from like North American culture, where it's like not necessarily extroverted, but it's like it's on display.
Yeah.
Like what you do is happening at like when you leave your house, expect to be talked to and prepare accordingly. Whereas here, like it's although in America, in North America, you can like leave your house in like sweats and a hoodie, and that's fine.
Yeah. Here everyone looks like models, like and the metros. Like when I go to work, I just look at people and I just feel so like
intimidated.
Yeah, I look at them and I feel like I need to go shopping. Like what am I doing with my life? I look so like I don't want to call brand names, so I'm trying to like censor myself. Yeah.
But like at the same time, like they dress nicely, but it's also like introverted, right? So they
don't talk.
They don't want to talk to you, and like I'm fine with that. That's great.
I love that. Yeah, I love it. Like, I don't want to be talked to when I'm in the metro. I don't want to be if I'm standing in a queue, someone like tapping my shoulder and be like, "Long line, huh?" And I'm like,
yeah. See,
what do you want me to say? Yes.
I never liked that. I never liked that about Canadian culture. And like it was always felt weird. Like I'm just existing in my personal bubble. Leave me alone. And that was kind of nice about Czech, as well. Like, I mean, the only thing that really messed with me was like the restaurant culture. I just haven't. I can get everything else perfectly fine. Like I have like a Czech mindset in a way. Restaurants still mess with me.
We could do a whole podcast on restaurants.
Yeah. So let's not get into that too much. I mean, there's probably a dozen podcasts about that anyway. So
let's just say they're not the most pleasant people when it comes to the service industry.
Service is a little slow and a little not enthusiastic.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay as long as you're getting good food.
Yeah.
I guess you get used to it. You have like that's what I learned. You just have to accept it. Things are different because this country has been through a lot. Like especially because I was talking to Misha and I was so confused as to why people are obsessed with meat and potatoes so much. And she was like, "Well, that's all we got. Like this country didn't have anything else. Everyone was forced to eat that, and people didn't get vegetables. They couldn't buy it here, and you wouldn't get fruits here." And so now people are apprehensive. People still want to, like, a lot of people are still living in nostalgia. Some people are just used to that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
It's a nice contrast, whereas like North America is like veganism is the huge thing and like always trying new vegetables and getting everything in perfectly. And here I wouldn't say it's like contentedness, but it's just like it works for us to have like speech kebab like every couple of days.
Yeah.
Like I know someone who would eat like paprika chicken like up to 3 times a week. And I'm like, how do you not get bored of this?
Paprika. That's too prolific in this country. Like everything is paprika.
This whole part of the world is paprika. But I mean, like if that's what works for you, like I mean, and there's obviously a reason for it.
Yeah.
So if it works, it works. We're not really one to judge.
Well,
Yeah.
especially the older ones are just used to it.
Yeah. And it just gets passed down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Older
don't
people
wanna
are.
give up.
Yeah.
the meat.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it either. It's like
No, the food's good.
people are happy. So
I like it. It's a little unexciting, but it's good. It's like consistently decent food.
Yeah.
Food is still a small part of culture, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking more of, because for me the social life was very different, especially because in India, well, language is a barrier already.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot just make friends here. I had friends in school, but it's always better to have local friends, friends who
that
like
was
people.
the big struggle.
Yeah, it was so difficult, and at one point I was just lost. I was so out of touch from it. Just felt like my whole life was not connected to this place, and I was just living in a bubble where it was all people who were from the same background as me, and we were all just speaking Hindi, and I was just like, what is happening? It was like 1.5, 2 months, and I needed to be connected to this place, or else it would just, I don't know, life didn't feel that fulfilling.
Yeah, you're not connected to it.
Yeah,
But-
everything just feels distant.
It can be very alienating, and that same introvertedness like is also like a bad thing when it comes to like you can't make friends easily, and even if you do have access to Czech people, local people,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that they're gonna want to talk to you. Like it's not like you can just walk, because like we made friends perfectly easily with other foreigners.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really easy, and that's probably a big struggle for a lot of like immigrants, expats. Expats is just bourgeois immigrants.
Yeah, expats like white immigrants.
Yeah.
I heard somewhere though that a lot of the reason is that because Prague has such a reputation for being sort of a destination place for not like for a limited period of time, the Czech population gets so used to these people coming and just
Leaving.
So they don't want to dedicate all their time and emotion and whatever to knowing somebody that's going to leave in 2 years.
That makes a lot of sense.
Just
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's just, most people that come here don't stay here.
Yeah. That's why there's a big expat community, because expat can also be, well, there is one definition of it which would say that it's just people who are rich who are immigrants, but if I was looking into it because I wanted to name this podcast the Expat Gang, but I was like, I don't know. I just wanted to be like, I'm brown, but I can say expat, so I'm like changing the meaning of the word. But I looked into it, and it means the differentiation between expat and immigrant is an expat leaves, an immigrant stays. So that is why I think that does make a lot of sense now that I think of it, because so many people here, they're not becoming permanent residents. A lot of them are temporary residents, and they just bounce to some other EU country.
Yeah, it's like a stepping off point for Europe.
It's like Europe on easy mode. It unfortunately is, because it's cheaper than most other parts of Europe, and then there's lots of jobs. Well, there were lots of jobs.
How much would you say a person would spend per month to live here, living like our kind of lifestyle? Student doing their higher studies, living in an average household.
Depends
with
on
roommates.
Like what your expenses and extravagance level is and stuff, but
average ballpark, let's say something like you eat
US dollars.
Yeah, in US dollars. Yeah, I can.
I would say you could live well and comfortable on like $900 a month, like very comfortably. If you're splitting rent with a few people and not living on your own, that's food, that's groceries, that's like a few beers, on the weekend plus rent.
900 would be like 23,000 something around that
Something
crowns.
like that, yeah.
That's not struggling, that's like easy living.
Yeah. For India, that would be around like 65,000 rupees, and that's pretty. It's decent for Europe. That's like so cheap.
Yeah, that's
For
really
America,
low.
that would be 2,500. It's easy.
Yeah, well,
Just rent.
Depends
Like
on where you are,
depends on
but
where you are. Yeah, if you're in a student city,
Like,
it's cheaper.
I can really quickly go over the culture shock thing, because I didn't touch on that. So for me, if I had come from the South without any European family, it would be a huge culture change, because in the South, I like not only expect to be spoken to, I look forward to it. Like, you go out in public and you're like, I'm going to talk to strangers today. It just happens. Like, you'd be standing in line and exactly, someone's like, sheesh, I've been here for 20 minutes. And you're like, oh, tell me about it. And by the end of it, you're talking about each other's like childhood friends. It doesn't matter. It's like, it's weird. And Savannah's not a very big town, so like, I will probably know somebody if we meet each other. It's 250,000 people. And if they're in the same age bracket, like, I know what school you went to, I know who you went to school with, etc. But coming from like a half European family side, like, I felt super at home here, because you go to Stockholm to visit family, and people are a little quieter, a little more reserved. Everybody stands like 5 feet away from each other at the bus stop, and nobody talks to each other openly unless there's a reason to. So, I already kind of liked that too. It's sort of a break from like the abrasive southernness.
Yeah.
And I always felt a little like more similar to my Swedish side of my family rather than my dad's adopted family, because he comes from like a big Irish Catholic Italian mixed family where it's like
that's overwhelming,
loud and fun and crazy, but a little overwhelming if you're kind of quiet. So I liked it, to be honest. I don't like feeling like I'm being sometimes I feel like they were kind of rude at stores, or like I'm being patronized, and that's a little bit annoying when they look at you like you're an idiot. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm here to study something. I don't have time to also master your language.
Yeah. Oh, I mean Czech stores. Okay.
Yeah, Czech stores.
I thought you meant like stores back in Savannah.
No, God no. Like, that's there. You're like,
Look at him. He's like blonde and white. I don't think anyone would.
And when I go to Sweden, they start speaking to me in Swedish, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I know. I'm deceiving.
I know. It's just the looks.
Yeah. No, I kind of like it though. At first I was a little put off by the rudeness, but now I'm like, whatever. Like, like not like barely talking to, and
that's the thing. You gotta grow skin, like thick skin for it. For me, it was super like disheartening in the beginning. I'm like Mumbai. It's everyone talks to each other. Also, just like America, not as much, because when I went to Colorado, it was insane. Like, even the airport security was talking to me. You don't get that in Mumbai, but it's still like, to cut the silence, people talk, and sometimes you meet people who would want to talk, and that's okay. But it's also more population in Mumbai, so there's a lot more people. You don't feel like you're alone whenever. And in Prague, I would walk streets and there would be no one almost every night where I was living, and it was still like Americka, like near Náměstí Míru. Super, like, really good neighborhood, but always so empty. And I was so scared at night. Like, I'm scared of the dark anyways.
You're in like an upper middle class bougie neighborhood though.
Yeah.
No, but
Miru is like,
it's not. No, but
prime real estate.
It feels different because, well, there's also the racial aspect to it, where a lot of people think I'm like Romani, because there's some
or Muslim.
I've been asked to remove my mask to show if I have a Muslim beard or not.
Really?
Once, for the when we were going to find apartments.
Jesus.
The landlord was like, "Can you remove your mask?" And he saw, and he was like, "Which religion are you?" And I was like, "Hindu." And he's like, "Good, stay Hindu." And I'm like, "Okay." But never mind.
Yikes.
Yeah, so that experience hasn't been super fun, but it's not that I encountered this stuff like in again, like repeatedly. It's a once in a blue moon kind of situation. Other times it's a very passive aggressive racist where people just disregard you or just stare at you, or they're just curious. A lot of times they just wanna. Yeah, there's a big staring culture here. I think people just look at you.
It's more.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why.
They're studying you.
Yeah, they're like looking at you as a specimen. Yeah. It's check to check as well.
Yeah.
I get it though. I like people watching. So like.
You like people watching?
Yeah.
But even people watching it is like, oh, that's cool. He has a cool bag, or I like her dog.
Yeah, I'm not
you don't make eye contact.
This is like
looking at
gimmick.
you.
I've had that happen, and I'm like, oh god, like
who
what
are
you
you?
doing? Why are you staring at me?
That's why it's intimidating. Like, people watching it.
You can look at my clothes. You look at my jacket. It's good, but don't look into my eyes all like for 10 minutes straight.
Into my
That's
soul.
weird. Yeah. No, this is a little heavy. This question, but what was the most difficult day that you spent here, and did you ever feel like just giving up and just moving back home?
Go with James.
That was very recently for me. Okay, so like during COVID, because of lockdowns, I was basically impossible for me to renew my visa within the country because it had like gotten past the point of where I had enough time to do it because of lockdown. So by the time I started getting it done, it was a little too late. So then I had to go on to my 90-day tourist visa. Then I just had to hope that I didn't get found out by the police.
Yeah.
And there was at one point where the people I've been working with for like 4 months now to get my visa were like, German borders are closed. I was supposed to go to Berlin to get my visa. German borders are closed again. We don't know what to do. And at that day, I was like, by the end of the week, I got to decide. Like, am I going to risk getting arrested and deported out of Europe for the next 3 years? Or am I going to pack up my stuff and go home and hope that I can come back within the next few months? And that was really scary. Like, there's a couple days there where my girlfriend and I were just like, what do we do? Like, I've been with a girlfriend now for over a year. So, it's kind of serious. We live together. It's not just, they know her. Like, I'm saying girlfriend because Alex out of context doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
She will come on the podcast after a while.
So we had like a big conversation. It was sad. There were tears. We were both really stressed out. But then a couple days later, Germany and I think, both went back to orange on the scale from red. Borders are open up. And then last week, I managed to go to Berlin, get my temporary stamp. I'm, now on the process again of getting my visa.
Legal.
So, there was some dark time there for a couple of days where I was coming to terms with having to leave and not being able to come back for at least half a year. And that wasn't great because I haven't been home in a year. Neither has Connor. Like, we've not been able to go home since last Christmas.
Yeah.
But, I would have rather have stayed here another half a year with the possibility of going home legally and returning legally when it's all over than to have gone home and then just been stuck there. With COVID, the U.S. is a nightmare still. So, yeah, that was it's very recent. Otherwise, it's been really nice being in this country. Like, and that's not the Czech Republic's fault. That's, global
That's just
pandemic.
COVID, yeah.
I just want to say that if James hadn't messed up his visa, him and I could have gone on holiday together. But
Yeah. I had to miss going to Montenegro. That's...
with everything paid for.
Yeah,
too.
I had already bought the tickets.
Yep.
Then I had a consolation trip to Vienna. Pretty nice.
It's okay. It's okay. Trips come, trips go. Legal residence stays for a while.
It's pretty crucial.
Gonna
to
get
have
my
that.
blue card.
Yeah. No, I went through a lot of kind of similar stuff when COVID had just started. Like, the pandemic had just started because my visa was expiring in May of this year, and I did not have any visa for like 120 days, and I was scared that they might just reject it, and then I would have been illegal for that whole time. But then, a lot of people told me, they changed the regulations. You're allowed to stay while it's getting processed. You don't have to worry about it, and that was fine. I'm still waiting for my employee card, but I'm still legal, so it's not that bad.
Paid yet.
Yeah, I just can't get paid yet.
God.
I know.
But yeah, did you have any day where you felt like I might just go home? Like, it's too difficult.
I don't think so. I haven't hit a dark spot like that.
And that's good.
I mean, I already know I have to go home because I got let go from my job. So
Yeah.
that's that. I mean, I guess that sort of fits the bill, but also that doesn't, because I already know that I have to go. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, do I go or not? It's like, well, that's kind of it. I think the dark day, not about deciding whether to go home, was telling these guys that I have to go.
Yeah.
Just because we all lived together, Alex and James and me, and that was not a fun day.
Yeah.
That was like, I mean, you guys knew immediately because it was like, hey, and then we got drunk afterwards. But
Yes, we did.
But I mean, as an adult who has been living on his own for nearly 3 years, or let's say 3 years.
Yeah, let's say 3 years.
Like, there's some time on and off in Vancouver and Prague. I don't know. As an adult, how do you deal with that effectively? Well, by not thinking about it and drowning it out, and we'll deal with that problem later. But I don't. Other than that, I don't really think I have a dark point that really fits the bill.
No, that's...
No, I don't think I can pin one. I mean, I've had like sad spots, but not like anything like this is it. I probably should think about going home.
No, that's good. I just wanted to ask this because a lot of people think that it's so difficult to move away from everyone, from your parents, from your family, from all of your friends, and a lot of people think that I might just want to bail and I might want to go home again. So I don't want to do it. I don't think I'm strong enough. And I don't think it's that difficult. It's difficult for a few like months, but it's not that difficult that you feel like, no, I should just bail.
Yeah.
But it's also okay to have feelings like
is.
Yeah,
like,
it is. It's
I would love
essential.
to go home for a
It's
while.
Makes
necessary.
everything else better when you have those days too. You really appreciate the days where everything is going well for you.
Yeah.
Those dark days.
Yeah.
It also helps you grow as a person, like to go to face those hardships where you can't do anything about such things.
You
You
learn
have to just...
how amazing humans are at adapting to any given situation, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. But I do have one more point, actually, that like should have been the first thing I said. But last year, my grandfather passed away, and like I had known for like a while before I even left that he was not doing well, you know. And the hardest thing wasn't losing him. The hardest thing was having to stay here and not being able to go home for the funeral or anything. 'Cause, you know, obviously, I was close with him, and like my grandmother's still alive. My mother still very close to him, so that was rough, but it wasn't unexpected. It wasn't like a surprise. He had been unwell, and he lived a very long, healthy life. But that was another, like on visa related. That was a dark day where I had to just sort of, you know, come to terms with not being able to be home. And that was the only time where I was like, God, I wish I could just fly home for a day, but the finances aren't there. It's just not feasible to do that. So, yeah. But again, like with friends, I was with you outside of Globe when that happened.
Yeah.
It's easy to, you know,
I remember that day.
not necessarily forget what's going on, but like to come to terms with it when you've got a good group of people around you. So that's all you need. Like if you're gonna move somewhere, make friends. Like let's.
That brings to what I was gonna say was, well, the darkest day that I felt was my grandfather passing away this year, and during COVID, where I was in, well, the whole country was in quarantine, and well, I had like all the funds and everything to go back, but well, the country was on lockdown and no one knew that my grandfather was gonna pass away. It was not planned. He was feeling unwell, and my parents gave me like 3 days notice, and they were like, he's in the ICU and we don't know how things will go. And then one day before, they were like, it's not looking good. They've given us 12 hours. And I was like, damn. And he was just, I had to video call them, and he wanted to see me like before he went away. So that was really rough, and just seeing my dad break down, and after that, everything, like even I felt closer to my parents, even though we're so far away. It just feels like the more hardships that, because it was so difficult for my dad too. He wished he had been closer to his dad, and he was telling me that we should stick closer together now, because trust me, you do not want to experience what I experienced. You do not want to feel like you regret anything. So let's just be friends. Let's just be better friends. So yeah, if that was difficult, and but that's rare, and that would have been difficult even if I was there.
Yeah,
That's true.
So looking back, I feel like it made me a way stronger person.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was an experience. Okay, this is something I wanted to talk about. What is the silliest thing you've seen in Prague? Like something you just looked at, you're like, what the
I'm thinking of something we've seen together recently-ish this year. With the dude in the trash can. We're going back from the grocery store and we're at the top of this staircase, and at the bottom of the staircase is the big recycling bin, and all we see are two skinny little legs out of the hole, like, wiggling around.
This man's in emo jeans hanging out of the textile
like
recycling.
black skinny jeans just coming out.
It's kind of normal.
That was weird.
He wasn't even
Coming out or what?
He wasn't even a homeless guy.
Yeah, he was like nice skinny jeans and...
He just wanted to vibe. He just wanted to check out what's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have that on video. We
do.
You can add that to the end of this.
It's on Reddit for everyone to see.
Bonus episode.
That was amazing. That was wonderful.
That's so fun.
A true Czech experience. Mine's kind of like probably everyone's seen it who's been to Prague. There's this dude who I guess used to sit on Wenceslas Square, and he plays the keyboard with one of those horse masks on his face.
Oh yeah.
That guy. I mean, can't say our same one. So
Yeah.
that's like my favorite. I walked past him like when I was working at Charles University. I'd walk past him like a couple times a week, and he'd just be there doing his thing,
Yeah.
with a horse mask on his face, playing like Kalinka or something, completely irrelevant, and just perked my day up. Really silly.
There's always like little weird things that you see.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, really
For me, it's there's so many, but they're all like I can't recall a lot of them, but the one I recall instantly whenever I think of something really silly is just I once saw cooked spaghetti on a tram station.
Oh, as you do.
Just
Yeah, just cooked spaghetti, like a whole like 200 grams, I think,
yeah.
of just That's so weird. Why was it cooked? It could have been raw spaghetti.
Was
it could have been.
Was there like sauce?
No, it was just plain spaghetti. Just no sauce. Just imagine boiling it, putting it in a bag,
going to the
and
tram
just,
station.
Yeah, and just spilling it on the tram.
Were
tram
you
station.
at least like near a restaurant?
No, it's just on a tram station.
I was gonna think like maybe like Czech Gordon Ramsay got mad at someone and like threw their overcooked spaghetti out the window. But
Oh God. No.
Oh, I have one really small weird one. I was on a bus. I don't remember where I was going. I was leaving town. And there was a guy in the middle of a very busy intersection, like a four-way intersection, at his car, filling the gas tank with a little petrol canister, like a small one, just like in the middle of this busy intersection, just like filling up gas in his car. And I was like, there's so many places you could have stopped and done this, but you're at the front of a red light with like 6 cars behind you. Just had that was, you could see that anywhere, but I was just like, that's silly.
Yeah. I don't know. There's this one experience, I wouldn't call it silly. It was a little scary, but now looking back, I laugh at it a lot. But there was this guy, I would go home in the school housing that I was in. And every night I would we had like socializing sessions where we would all hang out with the actors and cinematographers. Everyone would hang out together and talk. Our school was like encouraging us to get to know each other because we had to work on projects. And one day I was coming back. It was around 12:31 at night, and I was empty, no one there. I go there. There's this dude. I've seen him once or twice before, but I've never interacted with him. He comes up to me with a suitcase, and he stops me. He says, he just puts his hand like in the front and just does the stop sign thing to me. Puts the suitcase on the floor, opens up the suitcase, and there's just clothes inside, like tucked tightly, nicely folded clothes. And he's like, polo shirts, 500 crowns. And I'm like, what?
Whose suitcase is this?
You wanna sell me clothes at 1 a.m.? And I was like, no, I don't want any. It's good. And he's like, touch it. And I'm like, no, no, this is pre-COVID, but still. I was like, no, I don't want to touch it. I don't want anything to do with this. And he was like, you will buy it, 500 crowns. And I was like, no, I will not buy it. And then he was like, do you have change? And I was like, oh, okay. So should I just give him some change? Like, he was like begging for it. So I was like, I don't know. I felt bad. And then he just stopped me. He didn't let me go home. And he was like, give me change. And I was like, oh shit, am I being robbed for change? So I opened my wallet, I gave him 20 crowns. And he sees more coins inside and notes. And he's like, you have more. Give me more. You will give me more. And I was like, no, I will not give you more. And he's like, you will give me more. He's coming closer. And I just like speed walk to my door, open the door and just close the door. And he's just standing there. But yeah, I got robbed for 20 crowns.
Should have just grabbed the suitcase and ran.
It was not, the clothes were not that good. They were like used.
No, nobody wears polo anymore. Like,
We were moving into our new house. We were buying furniture. This lady posted furniture for, it was like 2 chairs and a table, all the same from IKEA. Precisely 888 crowns. Whatever that is, whatever that is in US dollars. 888. We were like, great. We showed up with our money without coins. This is important.
Yeah.
We showed up, and she's this like French lady, I think. She was really weird.
She was definitely not Czech. Yeah.
Definitely not Czech. She was like, she was eccentric.
Yeah.
We were like, great. Here's your money. I was like, we don't have the 12 crowns difference, so here's 900. Great. And she's like, I wanted 888.
Like, we're giving you more.
Well, we're giving you 900. She's like, but the whole point of this was to show up so you'd have 888 crowns. Like, I can't just pull 8 crowns out of nowhere. I can make you 880. I can make you 890. I could make you 888. I'll have to go down to the shop first.
Yeah.
We didn't say that. We were just like, we just kind of looked at each other.
Yeah, confused.
What do we do with this? And she's like, it's fine, just give me 800. So we got 88 crowns off when we offered her 900. It's not that much. It's like 50 cents more.
Yeah.
But we got like almost $40 US discount.
40?
Like
no.
80. No.
It's
Sorry,
like
$4.
$4.
$4. Excuse me. Math is hard.
Yeah, $4.
$4.
Yeah.
We got $4 discount.
Yeah.
So we came out with $4.50 if you think about it. We were prepared to save 900.
Bank.
Yeah.
Still have the table.
Some numerology kind of stuff, you know. There's a lot of witch enthusiasts.
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft enthusiasts in Prague.
Yeah, there's witch stores.
Yeah, there are.